What is up, YouTube? I Lacerate from Team Armored here. Bringing some new content on settings explanation. Honestly, I'm gonna skip over everything that is either irrelevant or common that should be common knowledge to you. Not gonna try and bore you with this. I'm just gonna try and dish something out for you guys. That way you guys have a better understanding of what to be expecting from your settings. Before I continue, I would like to make a comment and mention that if you're sick of playing at low settings on your computer, it is not hard to go to a computer store and buy a graphics card or GPU that, for 60, 50, 80, 120, even go up to $1,000. Whatever budget you can afford, do it. It's worth it to have a graphics card that's not your integrated graphics on your motherboard. It's nice to have. It's nice to have RAM. It's nice to be able to run settings that are higher and not worry about this kind of stuff. I know some people can't afford it. I know some people just don't know how to do it or are scared to try. I mean, it's easy as looking up on YouTube how to install graphics card. It'll say install your drivers on your computer and plug it into a PCIe slot. If you don't know what a PCIe slot is, it's on the motherboard. It'll say it right next to the slot. It's underneath your processor. There's 4 little slots there, and some of them are PCI, some of them are PCIe, some of them are whatever. Look it up. I definitely encourage you to do that. Anyway, to continue, window mode is your generic, obvious. You know what it does. Field of view. There is a controversial topic between field of view. Some people say that 90 was the setting that it had before they implemented a field of view setting into the game. I personally don't see that large of a difference, except for the fact that 90 puts my gun off to the right a little more than 85, and I feel like I can see just a little bit more. So it does encourage. It encouraged me to play at 90. Just being able to kind of have the gun off center a little bit. Some people have to have their gun center, like if you quick scope and you know where center of the screen is, you're used to it. It might be hard to change that. Resolution, that is very obvious. The best resolutions that I've heard of are 4.3s. All the 4.3s are what I hear is the proest and best settings, whatever you want to call it. I play 5.4. Just because it looks nice, it looks pretty, I can deal with it. Some people deal with 1024 by 768. It's not bad. Definitely improves your accuracy because things are a little closer to your screen. But the higher you go up, honestly, the slower your targets move. So you feel super fast when you're playing 800 by 600. But when you're playing 1600 by 900, you feel like you're crawling as you're sprinting. So it's like a illusion or an effect that you get from resolution. The scanning rate is the redraw speed of your computer, not your computer, your monitor, the redrawing speed of your monitor, and pretty much the difference is the higher the number the better. If you only have the same 2 options that I have, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because it's going to be the same. It's either going to be 59 or 60 or whatever your monitor can support. If you can support 120 hertz and a 1 millisecond delay, fantastic. That's a monitor that everybody could dream to have. But if you don't have that, don't worry about it. Things are a little bit sharper on those monitors. Things are a lot more clear. Things are less laggy. So it's good to have a higher scanning rate. It just redraws the pixels faster. As far as gamma, that's just light contrast, and it's not really that big of a issue. As far as the shader model, I like these tooltips that they put out. That's why I was kind of curious when you guys said, make a complete settings video. It's like, well, they already have something kind of out, but I guess I can reiterate. So shader model, honestly, if you have a graphics card lower than what they're asking you here, or of the same quality, you need to take my advice that I said earlier and go out and buy one. That's just absolutely outdated, and I have no doubt why you're lagging. But you know, running at Shader Model 3.0 should not be hard in this day of age, especially since graphics cards are so cheap. So Shader Model pretty much specifically does, it displays how much shadowing would be displayed on the character, and the amount of artistic detail changes, the amount of just shading in general is what's going to be taking effect when you put it on high. The texture filter, obviously it goes from blurry to sharpest, but remember, it's either going to be blurry everywhere or sharp everywhere. So you don't really, unless you have a really awesome computer and already have 200 FPS, I wouldn't even try the, you know, anisotropic filters times 16. Times 2 works out just as well as times 4. High, medium, and low are kind of like, things are a little bit blurry. More or less, it's just the texture of, you know, surfaces. So you really don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. It depends on your processor. It depends on your graphics card. Pretty much just makes things blurry or sharp. As far as the light, I never really noticed such a huge difference between single light and complex light. I can't really explain the difference between the two. All I know is that single light will be less intensive. It says here that complex light will guarantee clearer view. Whatever that means. I don't see a difference between complex and single, so you can be the judge of that. Everybody's eyes are different. Shadows are extremely important. Use shadows in game if you can at all costs, because you can see shadows around corners. You can see shadows through walls, through ceilings, through certain areas and maps that are very critical and very important, because it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Until they fix that, it's part of the game. Use it. If you can't use it, you know, like I said, take my advice earlier. Anti-aliasing. Pretty much, it's just the difference between sharper and less sharper quality, blurry, sketchy, pixelated. Character detail, texture quality, weapon texture, and quality. These are all very, they're not required, but honestly, I'd rather see a sharp object, something bold come around the corner, than something blurry as fuck. So, it's your guys' choice. As far as background detail, background texture, background quality, who gives a shit about the background? Honestly, I don't see the biggest reason for you to be setting everything on high and using all these settings, because honestly, these are all lagging opportunities. If the background, like up here, looks fucking blurry, and you know, this window, you can't see the little lines in the window, I mean, do you really care? I don't. Nobody's gonna be up there, so why would I even need to look up there? Same with the particle detail. The particle on high does not make that fireworks effect, so it's not worth you actually investing in. Keep it on low. It's the same concept. It doesn't look any fucking different. The particle impact is a huge lagger, because who cares if you can see a spark show up on your screen when you hit a piece of metal, or if you see dust fly off the wall. It doesn't look as eccentric as other games anyway, so just don't use it. I don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Bloom creates a fog effect, kind of like fog does create a weather effect. If you look at the difference between the two, why would you want that shit in your way? That's beyond me. I mean, unless you're like taking some sort of cinematic, you want it to look pretty or something. It's the only reason why I see that you'd want to use that. This setting is ironic in a lot of ways. I really like the way that they explained its definition. The ambient occlusion. Ooh. Anyway, it's just sunlight. That's all it is. It doesn't really do much else other than light up all areas of your screen. Especially when you look up, you're blinded by the sun as if you would in real life. So it's nice to have. It's pretty. Color correction. This is a huge. I like this idea. Even if you are a low settings user, only because you get to see what everybody else sees. Instead of looking at a bland, blurry map, you'll be looking at a colorful map. I'd rather look at colors than grays and shades of black. But if you're colorblind, I guess this doesn't really matter. So color correction is nice to have, and that is what it does. It adds color to the screen, the correct color, rather than the standard. And depth of field is, I have a feeling it gives you this blurry-like effect, which kind of aggravates me because I'll look left, look right, and things will kind of be blurry on the very edges of my screen, which kind of aggravate me because then my peripheral vision is now clipped. So that's what I've noticed with it, is that things get really blurry. Some people say, oh no, it's only the gun that gets blurry, and you know what? I've enabled it and disabled it, enabled it and disabled it, and used it and not used it. Honestly, I just think I feel better without using it. I feel it does give a blur effect to all points of view of the map, which kind of sucks. So, my opinion, guys, that is the settings outlook. That is pretty much everything you need to worry about. Computers that aren't maybe so good at running this game, I might try and develop some settings for you guys based off the knowledge that I do have. It'll kind of help to know what you have for me to make something like that, because if a good majority of you have integrated graphics, there's not really a whole lot I can do for you because everybody's motherboard is different. If you have a $200 computer, this game's gonna run like it's, you know, it's gonna run like a $200 computer. I can't really do anything about that. If you spend money towards your computer and you start to upgrade it, I can help you with upgrading options. Like if you say, hey, you know, Lace, I got $100, you know, what would be the best graphic card for me to get for my computer? And how do I install it? I can make a video of how you install a graphics card, or better yet, you can go on YouTube and look yourself. It's just plugging into a port, and you literally plug in your monitor to it. It's not hard. It's not like installing a motherboard or installing the processor. Those are a lot harder. But not to worry or scare you, the graphics card is very easy. If you have questions about your graphics card or have questions about what you can run, I can give you optimal settings for a general basis of people that maybe get 60 FPS and want to get more. I can help you with that. But if you're running at 30 FPS, that's because your computer can only process 30 FPS or 60 FPS at the current settings that you're at. There's not really much else to do other than get a better computer. But other than that, guys, that's it for me. If you like what I put out, please leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing. And you know, thanks for all the responses yesterday, by the way. It was really nice for me to wake up in the morning and see a shit ton of responses. I was so excited, man. I came to my computer and I was like, wow, look at all these people fucking giving me ideas. This is perfect. You know, so thanks. I appreciate it. And I'm going to take some of your concerns and I'm going to make them real. I'm going to make them active. So feel free to click on the video above and let me know what you think about that one. All right, peace.